And breathe. We got there in the end. Don't worry about it. Happy birthday, Kendall. We got 3 points for your birthday.
Yes.
We don't get them often, but we got them on your birthday.
Thank God. Because imagine that. I mean, look, probably going to have a drink or two tonight, but
I don't blame you.
If we didn't.
It was a bit of a stressful one, but we'll get through it anyway. We'll kick off with Carl Darlow.
I'm not going to lie to you, I thought he had a flappy game, if I'm honest. I think he made a couple of saves in the first half, which were really decent. And the second half, I just kept saying to him, like, catch the ball. Just catch the ball, please. Stop palming it out, palming it to them. We were just lucky that at one point Hayden was on the line, so kicked one off the line. One of their shots hit the post in the second half. I just think we were very, very lucky that obviously, their shoes off or what someone else was there to save us, because I do think he had a flappy game again. I think his form's dipped a little bit in the past few games, so I think it's probably time to introduce Dubravka back again. Carl's done a job, don't get us wrong, done an absolute amazing job since Dubravka's injury, don't get us wrong, but people probably going to think I'm harsh because they'll win, but we did concede 2 goals, and their free kick, I mean, it was nowhere to be found. You should have known where that was going to, even I could tell from watching it where that was going to go. So yeah, Carl can probably have a 6 for me today. Yeah,
that's your rating. That's fair enough. It did concede 2 goals, got beat from about 30 yards out. When he was balls coming in, he did look a little bit flappy, as you say, like he's coming out and just punching it. He didn't even really get much of a connection on, but yeah, maybe it's going to be sooner or later before we see Dubravka back there. Yeah. In a defence, and Javier Manquillo only lasted 24 minutes, to be fair, with an injury. Started well, to be fair. I'd give him a positive rating, but instead of doing that, we'll skip straight on to Emil Krafth, who replaced him. Started a little bit slow, to be fair. I think it's quite clear that the best right back out of the two is Manquillo by quite a distance, but I think when we needed Krafth, he had a good second half, like when they were on top, which was pretty much the entire final 45 minutes. Like, it was stressful. I think pretty much everyone in the back line can hold their head up high, including Krafth. Like, he was important, getting some tackles on the right-hand side, some clearances, headers away. Yeah, everyone I can be happy with. So yeah, Krafth can have a 6. Isaac Hayden.
Yeah, really good. In the first half, I was a bit like, oh God, he's out of position. Like, I don't know if it was one of their goals. Like, he was nowhere to be found in defence, and I was like, oh God, like, what's going on? And then honestly, the defending for like the last 20 minutes was unreal. As I've already mentioned, he kicked one off the line. He was in there. He was on the floor. He was heading it out. Like, again, for a position he doesn't obviously play, and doesn't really probably want to play, because we've just got injury crisis all over the shop at this point. Yeah, Isaac Hayden can have an 8 for me today.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that we probably are going to see him a little bit more at centre back. Yeah. Every time he plays there, I'm happy with him. He does a great job covering, but you don't want to see him there, do you? But unfortunately, with the injuries to Lascelles and Fernandez, Clark obviously being out today, hopefully he'll be back for the next game. But this man here, Fabian Schar, hope to God he gets better, because that injury did look horrific.
His contract in the summer as well, so
yeah, it could be the last time we'll see him, because before he hit the deck, his hand was at the bench, had a stretcher come on, his leg was in a brace coming off, so that looked like maybe it's a ligament damage, which is usually around about 6 months out. We'll wait and see on the news about that. It may not be as bad as that, fingers crossed, because a centre back going off is the last thing that we needed to happen. But he had a great game, to be fair, throughout. I don't know what he got carried off on about 75 minutes. He played about down to 9 men from about 75 minutes onwards. And yeah, he had a great game. Battled on, strong at the back. Just the wrong time, because they were already piling pressure onto us. So losing our centre back definitely wasn't the one that we needed. But he can have a 6 as well. And Jamal Lewis, who wasn't expected to play today.
No, he was all right. He was all right again today, Lewis. He wasn't as good as he was against Everton, I must admit. Against Everton, I really didn't have a bad word to say about him, if I'm honest. Today he was getting a little bit run ragged, as I say. His defensive abilities aren't as good as the rest of our back line, I would say. But he had a relatively decent game, and he didn't really make any horrendous decisions or any horrendous mistakes. But he just wasn't like a standout for me today. So that's just it. So he can probably have a 6 as well. If Schar and Krafth are going to have 6, he can have that as well. People are probably going to say, "Oh, you're really nasty," but.
I know what I mean, especially like the second half, like the possession that we had. Like, yeah, we've scored 3 goals, we've got 3 points, but like the first half won it really. The second half, definitely. Jesus Christ! Like I think we had about 20% possession I've seen in the second half. Like we did get absolutely battered for about 45 minutes, but yeah. I think Lewis, he's probably had another good game. Like he wasn't a standout, it wasn't excellent, but you can maybe forgive him with the injury that he was meant to have. Like when I seen him in the starting lineup, I thought he would probably not last long, but thankfully he did last 90 minutes where 3 of our players didn't. So like credit to him for getting through it, chugging on through his injury, and it lasted 90 minutes. Oh, good God. Jeff Hendrick. His first half I didn't think was horrendous. In the build-up to the second goal, he played an excellent ball through to Saint-Maximin. It was a little bit heavy. It wasn't a perfect ball, but like he's seen where Saint-Maximin was. It was a decent ball through. Saint-Maximin had to run onto it to get onto the end of it and cut it into Almiron for 2-0. But the sending off I think was a bit harsh, but it's fucking stupid. Like he pulled his shirt back clearly, which is a definite foul. You could argue it's a harsh yellow, but when you're already on a yellow, you can't be doing stuff like that. So yeah, it is stupid. Yeah,
it's absolute immature mistake to make. Immature.
Yeah, well, like when we're already like pretty much chasing the game with a couple of players down. Like, did they concede the goal just after that? I think it was like 2-2 at that, 3-2 at that point. We've just conceded a goal. We've had a couple of subs already. We're forced into a couple of changes. You're on a yellow card. Just be careful. It's not really that too much to ask for. Pulling people's shirts back, it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, decent first half. 1 good pass, but stupid to get sent off. So I'll give him a 4. I'll let you take the debut man, Joe Willock, first player rating.
Bloody hell. God, we've needed someone like that for months. Months?
Yeah.
Like, don't get us wrong, I literally moaned. I didn't moan about the signing, but I was just like underwhelmed. Like, I was just like, if you're going to sign Arsenal money, I probably would have had Maitland-Niles. That's who I would have really, ideally, on paper at first, that's who I would have preferred. Today, he's come in, the first 20 minutes before his goal, I was like, Jesus, like we needed this. He was absolutely hard working. He was intercepting passes from like between Southampton players, which we don't have many players who do that. I think I've done this like show a million times. He was literally he was defending. He was directing the ball in the box. Obviously, his goal was great. Like really, really class act today, and something we really needed. And obviously he's proven several other Newcastle fans, probably the majority, who were underwhelmed with the signing and didn't know if that's what we really, really needed, or a player of his ability. But God, I really, really hope this just capitalizes and he has a fantastic end to our season, because I think he's really, really, the way he's looked today is going to be a great asset to the team. I really do. So Joe Willock can have a 9 for me today.
Yeah, I agreed. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Breath of fresh air, like I say, something that we needed for a long, long time. I was slightly underwhelmed with the loan as well. I think it's one of them where, like, we'll see. Like, he's only got himself to prove. Kind of like Bentaleb. No one wanted him, and obviously that turned out to be shit. But yeah, give Joe Willock give Joe Willock the benefit of the doubt. Scored a goal. What was it, like a few minutes in? Not too long in. Like, fantastic debut. First 20 minutes, unbelievable. Like that old school kind of number 8. Like we've been linking. Like he was kind of playing like a central midfielder, like higher up the pitch than the others. Like linking up with Wilson and Almiron. Like I think he could be a great player if we keep on with this formation. It's already been working for the last couple of weeks. Like we've got a great win against Everton playing that formation. We're the better team against Crystal Palace. Unfortunate not to get a point. Yeah. But I think he may be the missing piece of the puzzle, like to link things up going forward. So yeah, great signing, fantastic debut. Well done, Joe. John Joe Shelvey, he was all right. He's fucking lazy though, isn't he? He just like jogs around in the middle of the park, like. And in the first half, like say, like the first 5 minutes was awful, conceding a goal and getting a red card. And he missed a sitter as well. It was good play on the right-hand side.
Awful. It could have been 4-1 at that point as well.
Yeah, like that could have been costly. Like Southampton could and maybe should have got an equaliser the way they piled the pressure on towards the end. And if it came down to that miss, like it's just kind of basic stuff, that, innit? Like, it was great play. Was it Willock down the right hand side? Got the ball in.
Yeah.
Great pass into onto the penalty spot in acres of space and just slicing it. Like, just connect with it. Get on target. If it's saved or blocked, then fair play. But slicing it that far wide, fucking hell, man. Yeah, not his greatest game today. He can have a 5. Where do we go now then? I'll give you Callum Wilson, although he didn't play too long, came off just before half time.
I really hope he's all right, because
yeah.
I mean, look, don't get us wrong, today it wasn't a great game to judge things on, because he obviously we had to have Joelinton on second half. We were down to 9 men. Like, it's not a great game to judge things off in that sense, but Callum Wilson again on the receiving end of Willock's passes, on the receiving end of Saint-Maximin's passes, Almiron, like that. I love that. I've said this a million times, that he needs that support around him. And he is a goal poacher. Don't get us wrong, he made 2, I think it was 2 or 3 of the same sort of pass, like along Southampton's back line that went to them. A couple of times I was like, why are you doing that? You really don't need to do that. You've got support around you today, like in this formation. I just really hope the injury's not as bad, because we need him in that squad. If this formation's going to go ahead, this sort of attacking style of play, we need him in the squad desperately. So I hope the injury's all right. But prior to that, he was good. I'm not obviously going to give him a really high rating, because he had come off and didn't play the full game, didn't play the second half. So he can have a 6, Callum Wilson, for me. But that's not based on, obviously, he didn't play the full game. So
yeah, I'll while you've touched on it, I'll let you go with his replacement, Joelinton.
God, what does he do? Play.
He looks lost, doesn't he?
I feel for him. I really do. Apart from the fact that I'm still gobsmacked that he's even in the team at this point, because of what he did, really. Like, you know, like, not that it's the worst thing in the world, just discipline, really. Like, you know, like, you can't just go out and start putting random pictures on social media, mate. Like, come on. You know, like, that was just a very silly decision. Yeah. Anyways, I mean, look, the fine's out the way now, and okay, fine, let's move on. I mean, I don't think he touched the ball for about 15 minutes, considering, like, we seriously were in dire straits at that point, and he just didn't. I cannot see at all what he offers. I don't know why Gale wasn't brought on for Wilson, even Carroll, because Carroll can defend. Like, well, at that point, it wasn't as bad when Wilson came off, but he would be like my last person that I'd put on, really. Genuinely in the squad, he'd probably be the last person I'd put on. I really don't know. I feel for him, I do, but he can have a 4.
Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise change. Like, say, when you've got Carroll and Gale on the bench, like while Callum Wilson was getting treatment, like there was comments in the watch along, who should we bring on, Gale or Carroll? And then when Joelinton came on, I was like,
weird.
Okay, we had flex, but okay. Well, I was kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt in the sense that with this formation, with replacing Wilson, who was playing as a right forward, not a centre forward, I was like, that's pretty much Joelinton's best position. Maybe more left forward. He's probably better on the left-hand side than the right-hand side, but that's pretty much where he was playing for Hoffenheim. Yeah. Like, as a left-sided forward, like with players around him, with someone in the middle. We all know he's not a number 9. He's not a centre forward for fucking any money in the world. But I was like, give him a chance with this formation in a more attacking style play, in a position where he's probably more comfortable, what he's used to, where he's played before. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, we could finally see the best of Joelinton here, but yeah, he didn't really do anything. No. Like, made me swallow my words a little bit. But we'll see what Callum Wilson's injury is. It's obviously not as bad as what Fabian Schär's is. We don't know. Maybe he's just an ankle injury. Maybe back for Chelsea next Monday night. We'll see. But if you get to start Joelinton, if he starts on the left-hand side, maybe with Saint-Maximin on the right, give him another chance. But if he can't perform in this position, he can't perform in any position.
No. True.
I'll go Saint-Maximin, and my God, how much do we need him? First start, when was his last start? November or something? He's been out for a long time. He's been a substitute for the last 4 games. Obviously, over the moon to see him back. It's probably a good thing, kind of easing him in with them sub appearances, because he is too important to us to risk. Don't want him to get injured. So today was the day Brucey thought was good to stick him in. 2 assists in the first half. Like, just showing just how much we love him and how much we need him. Like, we're nothing without him. I know sometimes he can go a little bit lost in games, like we said last week. Sometimes his decision making is a little bit poor.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just runs into people. He doesn't know whether he wants to shoot across or what. But yeah, today I thought he was brilliant. He looked like he got an injury as well, I think, while Callum Wilson was
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like while Callum Wilson was getting treatment, the camera panned onto him. He was limping on. He came off just over an hour, which is usually around about the point where he comes on, which is probably a good change for Bruce because you don't want to exert him. Yeah. Like we were kind of chasing the game at that point. We're 3-2 up, but yeah, you don't want to see him last 90 minutes and pull up in the last minutes when it's unnecessary. Obviously, that change led to we're using all of our changes, which caused us to go down to 9 men at the end of it. But yeah, solid performance for Saint-Maximin. I'll give him a 9 for his impact, 2 assists in the game where we won 3-2 without them goals that he assisted. Probably would have lost that game. So yeah, you can have a very big 9.
Yeah. And
the one that got 2 goals, Miggy Almiron.
And as I've said a million times, I probably said it 7 times in this pod, I never, ever have a negative word to say about this bloke. Because even when he doesn't have a fantastic game, he's the hardest worker on the pitch, no matter what is going on. We 3-0 down, and he still is the hardest worker on that pitch. I can't dislike him at all. He's smiley. He's just lovable. And for him to get 2 goals today, obviously, one of the goals I thought was probably an own goal. But it looks to be given to him. So great.
I'm pleased it is. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, 10 for me. I really cannot give him a -1 for anything today. Yeah. I love the bloke. I really do. He's quite easily becoming my favourite player at the club.
Yeah.
Just for his work rate, and he's not the most, stylistic players in Saint-Maximin, for example, but he's bloody good grafter and he's a bloody decent footballer as well. And my God, I cannot believe at the beginning of the season he wasn't getting played. Still at this point, I really truly believe at the beginning of the season we probably wouldn't be in the position we are in now if he had played, because he just offers the team so much. And when him and Maximin are on the same pitch together, I love it. It's just attacking. It's special. Brilliant. 10 Almiron for me today all day.
Yeah, he's definitely at the minute anyway, the almost consistent player. Like me and Matty spoke about it in the instant reaction. He's like the last few games, like even before the Everton win, when we're on a run of like 9 losses, 11 losses, whatever the hell it was, like he was still the standout player. He was trying in every game, like the losses, like Leeds, Villa, Arsenal. He was trying in every single game. He was probably the only one that could hold his head up high. And I said in the last video as well, he's I think we spoke about it last week as well. Like he's best when he's got that confidence.
Yeah.
Like when he's got his head down, it takes him a little while to get out of his ruts. Like he has a run of a few poor games, but when he's got his head up and he's got that confidence, like at the minute, that confidence has never been higher. His performances have been amazing. I was chuffed he got his goal against Leeds, and he's got 2 goals today. Like my next couple of games are Chelsea and Man United, so we've got a couple of tough games coming up. But hopefully, he can keep that confidence going. Them 2 goals will give him the world of confidence. Obviously, things are going well for him in his personal life with the announcement of the baby on the way. So it's all 10s for Almiron at the minute. Like honestly, like the longer this can keep going, we could be okay. Obviously, with Saint-Maximin coming back as well. Hopefully Wilson's injury isn't too serious. We can push on now. 6 points from the last 3 games. Should have got something off Crystal Palace. And with Miggy playing as a false 9, a centre forward in his more preferred position, we're looking good. For the first time in a long, long time, we're actually looking good. The last one, Paul Dummett. I'll quickly take this one. He was an absolute fucking rock, to be fair. Like, you don't really want to see Paul Dummett on, especially when it's Saint-Maximin, especially when Saint-Maximin coming off. Jesus Christ, you probably couldn't pick a worse substitute other than maybe Wilson off for Joelinton on. Fucking hell, they're probably the 2 worst substitutions ever made in history. But but Paul Dummett, to be fair to him, like I said this in the watch along, I was talking to Pooley and I said the position he played in is the only position I actually like him in. In a back 5 on the left-hand side of 3 centre-backs. That's the only position he's good in, because I don't think he's good enough to play in a flat back 4 as a centre back duo. He's not a good enough left back. Where else can he play? He can't play as a wing back. Like that one position in particular is where I actually think he's a very good player.
Fully agree.
Yeah, and when we were getting absolutely peppered in terms of possession and chances, Southampton looking for that equaliser, they smelt the blood once we went down to 9 men. Paul Dummett on the back line I thought was absolutely tremendous, to be fair, so he can have a 7. And we'll finish it off with Steve Bruce.
Look, obviously the subs made questionable, but it's worked in the end. It's dragged out 3 points, so I'm not really going to slate that in terms of, because as you say, Dummett seemed a bit odd at first to do that change, but Dummett's ended up being, you know, probably one of the reasons why we still kept the win at the end. And the formation's work, and he's sticking with it, which is brilliant for him, because normally he just chops and changes players and does this, that, and the other. So, you know, he can have his flowers this week. He really can if he sticks with this, and he sticks with. I don't want to say it's his formation because I'm really to be honest. If he sticks with the Graham Jones tactics and the Graham Jones's formation, the only change, as I've said, since the Aston Villa game is Graham Jones, and since that game, we've capitalised every single game, kept the formation, kept the attacking sense of football. Yes, we did sit back a little bit today after we sort of scored 2 goals, but look, we've come out with the 3 points. Can't really say much about that. People are going to be very sad because they're missing my Steve Bruce rants, but it's because we're getting 3 points. I can't rant.
It's because maybe Graham Jones.
Yeah, give me flowers today. Well, Graham Jones is giving him the bouquet, but we'll give him to Steve anyway. Yeah, really hard fought win today, and the passion and the hard work shown by pretty much most of the team today was great, phenomenal.
Yeah, everyone gets a bouquet of the day. Joe, Willock, Almiron, Saint-Maximin, absolutely everyone. You too, Kendall, for it being your birthday. We've got 3 points. We'll move on. We've got a week break now, thank God. I think we needed it. Chelsea next Monday. Got a weekend off. So yeah, you go enjoy your birthday, enjoy 3 points, and we'll see you next week.